What's up, everybody? I'm Josh W. with Animo Games, and I just wanted to put together a quick video to explain what we've been up to since the Kickstarter for Cross Trainers ended, and how we're coming along with the development and production manufacturing of that expansion, and update you on the time frame of that, and also show you some of the pre-production samples that just came in yesterday. What I'm holding here are the it doesn't matter which is which because they're the same, they're blank. But one is the Draylight deck, Stagnetic deck, and one is the Draylight deck. And for comparison, I actually have the starter deck pre-production sample. So you can see it's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, but it's just as awesome. And inside these decks, each one is going to include 2 sheets. For the record, everything in here is blank, so you're gonna have to use your imagination, but one of these is a front and back sharpen your sword instruction manual, how to play on both sides. The other one is hide it in your heart game on one side, and then on the reverse side is the Stagnetic playmat. So I'll show you what some of that looks like. So there's the 2 fold-out sheets. Then there is the son of a gun. I opened the Draylight one. This is the Draylight cube. It's just a clear vinyl plastic cube that is used to mark your score as you move along the score track. These are the punch-out tokens. And then the deck box. So this is where you'll keep your Draylight deck. Stagnetic deck is exactly the same, only it has a purple cube. I'll get that out and show you. Everything else is the same because it hasn't been printed out. Now, here is the collector's box, and what it's gonna come in a sleeve for retail. So the sleeve is actually gonna contain more of a description of what this is. The reverse side is going to have show you what's in the box, a little writing description, and it'll have the barcode and everything. So that's more like retail markings, because obviously you don't want those types of things on your collector's box. So the collector's box will be inside, and in here you will actually get this is the fold-out playmat, Mercifier on one side and Princess Gem on the other, as voted by our Kickstarter backers. Exclusive design punch tokens, power tokens, and then inside you're gonna have 6 booster packs. Now they didn't put booster packs in here because they haven't made them yet. They just sort of put the number of cards, so there's nothing to really show. There's gonna be an 18 pack of power cards, so you'll have 4 of each power card inside the collector's box. So really sort of gives you what you need to be able to structure your own decks, be able to start playing with deck building a little bit, and gives you all the tools. And 6 booster packs, which is 14 cards in each, so it's a lot to work with to be able to modify your decks or add or just completely build a deck in itself out of this box. You could do that. If you ever watch a home renovation show, whether it's a fixer-upper or something like that, where they get a house, they quote everything, they tell the people how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost, and then they start knocking down walls and they see things that are problems, or every single episode they come across something that's wrong or something that they didn't foresee. Well, game manufacturing is much the same way. So we've only been through 3 of these, but from talking with other game developers, there's always seems to be something that comes up that you didn't plan on that just pushes something back a little bit. And this print run has been no exception. So in this case, this box, as you see it, is a little bit more narrow than we wanted it. And this will fit the deck boxes, this will fit sleeved cards, but there was an error with the dimensions I gave, that I was giving the interior dimensions, and what they did is they put that as the exterior outer box dimensions, so it made everything a little bit smaller. So we're gonna have them go back and retool that and fix that, so you will get a bigger, it'll be a wider box than what you see here, but that's currently in the works. That shouldn't really slow anything down, but I will have to redesign the box packaging because it'll be slightly different, slightly bigger. Okay, now really quickly, I did want to do a comparison of, so this is our Truth Seeker Collector's box from Series 1, and I just wanted to show you the length difference with the cross trainers. So it's a good 1.5 inches longer or so, which translates to about 100 more cards that you can fit in here, or another deck box, or about 60 to 70 sleeved cards. Okay, next I'm going to show you the playmat. Now this is done, this is ready to go. So this is the neoprene playmat. It's the Mercifier design, and it is a neoprene rubber backing, and we actually opted to add this, I don't know if you can see it, but it's an embroidered edge all the way around. And what that does, adds a little bit of quality, adds a little bit of heft to the mat, but ultimately it should keep that edge from where that fabric layer tends to separate at the edges and peel. It should keep that in check and just make it a little bit more durable, make it a little bit more quality, and make it last longer so it doesn't fray at the edges. So I thought that was a nice touch, and I'm excited about it. I think it looks good. All right, so here now are the print samples that they've given. You see they come in these rolls. I have a bunch of them. I have a lot to review tonight. But anyway, this is the booster box packaging. You have to envision it. It's it'll be folded up, but this is essentially what you're looking at here is the back of the booster box. This is the bottom, and then these are the sides, so they'll fold in. This will fold around the top. This will be the tab that sticks out on top above the packs, and this will fold up. This will be the front of the booster box, so inverted there. But that is the booster box that the packs will all be in. Here we can see these are on their own page. These are all the holographic cards. So these are all the ultra and mega characters. There are 12 total. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Virtuous Animo, and then there's 3 Mega Cines. So those are all the holographic cards in this series that you can collect. You can find those. 1 out of every 2 booster packs will contain a holographic card. Now that doesn't mean if you get 2, you're gonna get 1 for sure, but in every booster box, there are 12 holographic cards, and there's 24 booster packs. So do the math. Statistically, 1 in 2. I have to clarify there because I don't want to guarantee anything if you're unlucky. Let's see, over here we have, sorry for the shoddy camera work. Over here we have the Duralite deck, and that's what the back's gonna look like. You didn't see that on Kickstarter, but there it is. And the deck box. Here we have the Stagnetic deck. And the deck box for that. All right, so here is this is actually the spot UV map for the decks that I just showed you. And really you can see these areas that are sort of darkened out are where the UV overlay is gonna be. So these will be like a glossy feel, a little bit shinier. The rest of the box is matte. I'm sure you've seen it before on other packaging and products, but it's just a nice touch, and I wanted to do that on these boxes. So that's what this That's what this image is representing. Oh, so this is that sleeve that I talked about that's gonna go over. This is really tough to do by myself, but this is the, this will be the front of the collector's box. And this is the top, and this is the back. Just explains what's in it, what you're getting, and this is the bottom. So really designed for retail purposes. This is the whole Stagnetic deck. These are all the cards that you're gonna get with it. And this is kind of how they lay it out. This is how they're gonna print it. And they'll actually print it on the card stock and then they'll cut it. The first thing you're gonna see is the card list. So each deck will come with its own card list. That way, if you mix up the cards, you trade them out, or you start swapping things out, you can always go back to this card list and see what you need to put it back together. Now we opted for that instead of putting the icons on each card. Anyone that is like a hardcore completionist is gonna feel like they need the Believer with the Stagnetic logo and then the Believer from the booster pack. Now you don't have to. We made it easy for you. And then the other issue with having the icon is if you lose something, you're trying to sort out your cards and you're missing one, you have no way to know which one you're missing. So that's why we went this route this time. And then, so here we have the cards as they will appear in the Stagnetic deck. This yellow one that's missing, that is the Ultra card. That's a hollow card, so it will be printed on a different sheet because it's going to have a different finish. Okay, now here we have these are the upgraded scorecards. They're reversible. They go 1 through 60 really, and that's where this little cube comes into play. You will use this to sort of keep track of your score as you progress through the game. So that's a little bit easier way to keep score, a little bit less confusing, and just fun because pieces are fun. I like game pieces. I wanted to discuss this card also. In the first series, Sharpener's Sword was just a 2-player contest, so you could just keep track of the Cinnies you defeated by placing them on your mat and, keeping tally that way. Now that we broadened the game for up to 4 players, you have the potential of defeating Cinnies from various different players that are playing. So one thing we wanted to avoid was the confusion of, okay, if I defeat a Cinnie that you play and I put it on my mat, you can keep track of when you hit, 6 Cinnies. But then at the end of the game, people need to sort out, okay, well, this one was mine and this one was mine. So we figured people would prefer not to do that. And so now if I reveal a Cinnie to you and you defeat it, then I take that Cinnie back and just discard it or I put it in the defeated pile on my side of the table. And then the player who defeats a Cinnie will just mark these spots here. So this will have like a, the Cinnie token. It'll have like a Cinnie with the line through it, and you'll just place this. Now, the new playmats have this on the board, but for those using the older playmats, you don't have this. That's why we want to provide it in a card form as well. Or if you're playing without a playmat, you don't have to have a playmat to play. And then you can use this as a way to keep track of the Cinnies, and then this for your score. If we look at the back side, so here the Truth Seeker that comes with the Stagnetic deck is reversible. So we're gonna get Silas and May will be front and back. And then here's the back of those scorecards, like I said, and then this is the back of that Cinnie tracker. And Psalm 19, if you haven't noticed by now, we hide it everywhere because it's kind of the theme verse of Animo, which is, I've hidden thy word in my heart so that I may not sin against thee. King James Version, sorry. That's the way I learned it as a kid, so that's the way I always say it. Okay, so I just want to wrap up this video by explaining what happens from here, what's the next step, and update you on the timeline for production. So really, once we give the approval for all of this, then everything is set up, everything is laid out, ready to mass produce. So once we give the okay, they start that process, and that takes about 30 days. And then the freight will go, Josh Patton is working with, I believe, Spiral Galaxies in the EU. They will distribute all the international backers except for Canada from there. We're working with Snakes and Lattes. I forget. I think they changed their name, but we're gonna send some units to Canada, and then the Canada orders will be fulfilled out of there, and then the rest will come to us in the U.S. And so the freight is gonna be roughly 45 days. So 30 days manufacturing, then 45 days freight, and then we'll start sending out within probably take a week or so to start sending out to our Kickstarter backers. So all in all, we're still on schedule. We expect to start sending things out to backers. It's looking like end of August, early September when we get everything. Okay, so that is it for this video. Please let us know what you think about everything and how it's looking so far. Super excited to get this and get it out to everybody. Thank you so much for your continued support. It really means the world to us. We love our Animo community, and that's it for now. We'll talk to you later. God bless.